First, my apologies. Couldn't join today morning. Do you hear my voice clearly? Too much depending on the phone or devices be not a good idea. Overslept without alarm. By the time I joined, already video was on, so I didn't want to disturb. Okay. Have a few questions. I'll try to finish. Let's see. First question. When practice always add ujjayi automatically. For example, this morning viloma only add ujjayi, then can focus on the body. So basically you are saying lengthening the breath. You straight away focusing, that's what I'm understanding, that you are lengthening the breath, ujjayi breathing. So after that, you are getting into anything else, whether you are doing viloma or observing the body or anything, which is fine. Maybe in between you will focus to lengthen the breath. The more your breath gets longer, generally it is good. So I don't see any issue on that. Correct me if my understanding is not right. Then you are asking body will automatically leaning forward, how to solve it. So one way is you sit against a wall and have a block. I think last time also I told, when I'm saying you have a block. So the block is pressing against the wall and you are leaning against the block. So you have to slightly move forward to keep the block, then from there you can sit up. So probably I will use one of other person to demo during the class, during the morning practice. So it's the body condition. So you, by overall observing the practice, being aware, looking into all the small things, it will change. So it's not really a big issue. Next question. I feel good in Nadi Shuddhi during recent practice. I want to know more about the theory, function, and its range of applications. One of the session I was telling, this Nadi Shuddhi, Nadi Shodhana, was before. Even now also they do that, but olden days in India, when the education starts, they may start the education at the age of 9, 10 for the kids. They give one mantra, the Gayatri mantra. Basically, it is to get good focus, concentration, and improve the intelligence. Surya Namaskar. But it is not really everybody do that. They teach that. Those who know do that. And importantly, they have to do certain ritual. In that ritual, they have to do this Nadi Shuddhi. In between starting, in between ending time, like that. By certain numbers. Overall, to maintain the pranic flow, they also have that inclination towards the inward life for that purpose. So maybe you can also check one of the other videos where we talked about sun energy, moon energy. So either one generally dominates. The more we go outward, basically we are making trips between these two, sun energy, moon energy, sometime more sun energy, sometime more moon energy. We want to raise above this duality, or we need to realize or know or reach the source, the root of this energy source. So what we are aiming by pranayama or meditation is to balance between these two and to know the root. That's where we get to know what is our real nature. So even if you don't practice anything, any other thing, just practicing Nadi Shuddhi itself can give a lot of effect, benefit. Possibly, not necessarily for everybody, but it has the capability, just Nadi Shuddhi itself can take you to the root. And also within Nadi Shuddhi, we can apply everything. We can bring Viloma, we can bring already Ujjayi, it's a part of Ujjayi. Chandra Bedana already there, Surya Bedana already there. Then if you apply Kumbhaka, the retention that can be done. Also, then you can do that with the bandhas, Jalandhara bandha, Udyana bandha, Moola bandha, with the bandhas when the practice gets better. So we can say very well, the whole pranayama practice can be done just by Nadi Shuddhi itself. The pranayama practice can be started from Nadi Shuddhi, can continue in Nadi Shuddhi. If you are lucky enough, can end in Nadi Shuddhi also. Why? Why I'm saying end? Because the whole aim of pranayama practice is to get to the state of Kevala Kumbhaka, where the retention happens on its own, especially while meditating. Okay. So keep the practice going. I'm trying to make it short. Next question. The last part of exhalation before the pause to inhalation. I feel there is an obvious tendency of Jalandhara Bandha, the feeling of the energy up to the throat area and automatically happening. Is this right? Before the passes to inhalation. If you are talking about Viloma, so I am trying to understand the last part of exhalation before the pass to inhalation. I mean, before getting into inhalation, where you are exhale to release. So Jalandhara Bandha, obvious tendency that time. When you do Jalandhara Bandha, there you are not really deliberately, you are doing it like Udyana Bandha and Moola Bandha. We can say when we go to Jalandhara Bandha, it's more of channelizing the energy flow, even the breath flow. So when we keep, there is more sudden movement can happen, even the breath, the blood circulation. And in Jalandhara Bandha, to some extent, you can regulate. And also the inhalation, exhalation, that also the amount, the volume, that also can be regulated. But though you are in a very minimum way, you are dealing with holding the energy or the movement of the energy. But Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha is we are completely locking. So it's a different compared to Jalandhara Bandha. We haven't still gone into bandhas, which in these coming days we will do. We will see that time more. Even Jalandhar Bandha we haven't done yet actually. Proper one. We will study. When allergic asthma happens, cannot find out the allergen and the effects of the medicine for expansion of trachea is also not ideal. Then yogic way can release the pain. Supported Supta asanas is also very difficult to do in asthma. Not exactly while the attack comes, while asthma attack or any issues happening. Unless you have a very good knowledge of your body as well as already have a good yoga practice. You will see yourself to adjust it. But other timings, normal timings, where you have some balance at least, your practice can be based on your respiratory system conditions. Basically, your practice should be to work on asthma, not while happening, while already you are in attack and you are breathless or other issues happening. You may need to take oxygen puff or other things. Sneezing, all those things happens. So if I know your history and also the details of like how often happens, what is your practice, then can suggest what you have to practice. A general practice we can say for asthma, supported back bends certain time, also going deeper back bends. Supported inversion, and mainly looking into your lifestyle. So that's what generally I can say now. More than that, if I know more about you. Okay, next question. Sometimes I will wake up in the midnight, then cannot sleep anyway. Lots of thoughts there. So, what kind of pranayama can help to going to sleep fast again in this situation? Pranayama will not help to have a permanent solution for this. You can do Jai, we can say, or you can go for Brahmari, you can go for even Viloma, all supine based practice. You can do that. But not necessarily it can bring the sleep. Why? You already says lots of thoughts. You may do Brahmari, but still your thought may interrupt and very easily you will become you will start to do in a very mechanical way. So where is the solution? Daytime. What you are doing, what you are thinking, how busy your lifestyle. It's not necessarily you have to do many jobs, many works. Not necessary. You may be at home, but keep your mind busy. You may think about family members, you may think about neighbors, you may think about friends. There may be so many thought processes going on. Then it affects, so it disturbs your sleep. Sometimes it can be just body related. So we have to see that reason why it is happening. Maybe not exactly we'll find out. To some extent we can assume or we can get to know. So when this kind of situation, if it is happening frequently, then you have to work back either through asana, through meditation, and reviewing you overall your lifestyle as well as your thought process. Then slowly you can get a balanced state. So if you don't get sleep, if you wake up, one thing, don't focus yourself to go to sleep. If you can't get, lie down just if you can't get. So what you can do? Maybe you can use that time to do meditation. Probably the meditation may bring the sleep faster than pranayama. So look into all these things. Why? What you are thinking at the time. Night time also, when you don't get sleep, why a lot of thoughts? What kind of? So the solution is there. Okay, next question. The people who have three highs: high blood pressure, hyperlipidemia, hyperglycemia. So basically, it is high sugar, high blood pressure, and high sugar. The glycemia is the sugar. Lipidemia is more the cholesterol actually. Cholesterol. It's the more of there are two types, but basically it's cholesterol, hyperlipidemia, more cholesterol. Uh, so this one is about the glucose. Glycemia is about the glucose. So it is basically the blood sugar level is high, kind of diabetes. So become more younger and normal nowadays. Means quite a lot of people having that. Right? So some nutritionist said vegetarian diet is not good for health. People should take protein in 3 meals and better have meat because only protein can prevent many diseases. While the vegetarian said vegetarian food is good for health, they have different sayings. I don't know which is right. To be a yoga sadhaka, would you please give some suggestions about diet? For example, if vegetarian would lead to lacking of nutrition. The people who eat meat, can they eat in the evening? Okay. If anybody says there is no protein in vegetarian food, you can't get vegetarian protein in vegetarian food, that means they love meat. Which is not fact. Okay, very easily you can search it. Plenty of food, vegetarian food gives a lot of protein. Many nuts are there, many vegetarian food. So even if you accept this argument, you need a lot of protein. Because if they say only protein can prevent many diseases, if they say, so protein you can get through vegetarian food also. Okay. But this also not really true that protein can prevent many diseases. Why? That means the people who are eating meat should not get any disease. They should not die. right? Not possible, right? So it's not about vegetarian or meat based. We can generally say first the place where you live. What is the local food? Locally growing, the fruits, vegetables. So those kind of things need to be added. It's not that you should not eat other things. For example, apple may be not growing in your place. That means you should not eat apple. No, it is not like that. But the preference should be local food. Second, if you are already from childhood grown up by eating meat, it is not that must that you have to immediately stop because of yoga practice. If it is naturally happening by your body acceptance as well as your mind acceptance, which is fine. Because at the end, though sattvic food is very much helping for yoga practice, pranayama, meditation, it is not 100% depending on the food. You may be eating only vegetarian food, but the mind will overpower. It can disturb your yoga practice. You may be eating meat only, still your mind can overpower. You may do good practice also. But for environment's sake, for the life, don't want to kill other life, animals and these things. For my survival, as I have the other options. If you are thinking that way and you want to avoid the meat, with a certain value, with certain understanding and adaptation of your body accordingly. First mind need to adopt. Then it is fine. And also whether it is a vegetarian food or like a meat-based food, it depends on how much you eat, how often you eat, when you eat. All these things important for yoga practice. After certain age, after we can see that 40, 35, 40 above, you need moderate food, quality food. You don't need big quantity generally. And also depends on what type of physical activity you are doing, what kind of overall routine you have in your daily life. The food intake should be based on that. But we don't do that. Our taste buds fixed certain routine to the body. Mind also fixed certain routine. So with great attention, with focus, we can change the way the body functions, mainly when it comes to food. We said the mind already, we need 3 meals, 4 meals. I need to eat that, I need to eat that. All these things already the mind fixed. Once the mind fixed, the body will respond, react same way. There are people, they don't like meat. Just by the smell, they can't. They get even vomit. It's not happening for everybody. Why? Because the mind set already. It is not good. It is not for me. It doesn't fit for me. So the body will react. So it's not about vegetarian or meat based. It's up to you. It is about how wisefully we are eating. If possible, for various reasons, plant-based vegetarian food will be very much suitable for yoga practice. But you need to take into consideration how you grow up, what is your understanding of it, how your mind value it, what's your desires, how you already trained yourself. All these things you need to take into consideration. So the first, it is about moderation. Second, it's about as per your requirement. Then afterwards you look into that vegetarian or meat based. Okay, next question. Okay, it's a long question. So the question is, yesterday I talked about yoga and Buddhism. Okay. I understand that we practice based on the right, the truth, and the aim is to know about ourselves clearly. Okay. Buddhism or Christianity or yoga, just the name given by the next generations. Am I right? Following the masters, so they set up certain methods, certain religion, certain institution. Yes. Before learning pranayama, I have practiced vipassana for many years. And now I still want to continue to practice. Last week, you guided us, did meditation and focus to the point between the eyebrows. I did that, but in my mind there was a resistance. I didn't accept this method. Had the reaction at that moment. After the class, I felt the heavy on the top to the back of the head. I did asana, then it disappeared. I have never been that before, either pranayama or meditation. I want to ask, when yoga is wonderful, but it still has some aspects which have not suitable for me. Right? In conclusion, I get conflict and confusion between vipassana or yoga meditation. My mind has a discrimination that vipassana meditation is better than yoga. I don't know what should I do. Okay. There are plenty of meditation techniques. Chanting is a meditation technique. Vipassana is a meditation technique. As I said, Nadi Shuddhi itself can lead to a certain meditation. Visualization, a meditation technique. Musical meditation technique. Dance, swirling dance type can be a meditation technique. So what we need to understand, what happens through this meditation technique. If you are already doing some meditation, any type of technique, if you are seeing that it is helping, making you to understand, making you to bring that inner journey, deeper inner journey clearly, bringing that awareness, it is very much fine, any technique. What we were trying to do or doing, it's a energy based, centers based, chakra based. It's one technique. So not necessarily you have to do the same way. So whenever we are, even anywhere, wherever we are participating as a group, if there is certain meditation, you can get into your own meditation. So you can get into Vipassana meditation. So when yoga says dharana, dhyana, samadhi, any meditation technique is dharana or entry point of to move into. So using the technique as dharana, and from there you can do any technique. It has to evolve as dhyana should lead towards samadhi. So there is no conflict here. There is basically it's the same technique, plenty of techniques, whichever you suitable for you, whichever you are doing, you can get into that. What is mentioned here, yoga, this all this idea about it. So it is talking about the overall technology, how it works, what happens with our body, what happens with our mind, what is the relationship, what happens with meditation. So it is talking overall about the technology and what happens by using the technology through various techniques. So Vipassana is one technique. Vipassana is not end. Vipassana is a mean leading to the same end, supposed to. Okay. So if some people say Vipassana different and yoga is different and not this way, they are not understanding. They are not experiencing. So you are very well continue Vipassana meditation, and it is part of yoga practice. I would put it this way. It is not different. A lot of my friends are Vipassana meditators, of my students also. So I really will encourage them to do that. So it is not opposite of that. It's supporting one. Okay. Okay. Next question. Yesterday I mentioned about responsibility and yoga in life. Would you please talk more about that? The responsibility is equal with dharma. Okay, we may get into confusion. Because this idea of dharma, if it is based on culture or country or religion, it brings a lot of conflicts. It will bring a lot of contradiction. From your culture, country, or religion background, what do you see set in dharma, rights and wrongs, do's and don'ts? In other places, it may not be the same. Culture based, we can see that a lot of differences, Eastern, Western, even country wise also, within country also, region wise also. So we can't give the same meaning or equate with that. Now let us see that what is, even just keep aside that it is not the same. Just if you see the responsibility. How do you define that? When you say this is my responsibility, how do you define that? Say you are working in a firm, in a company. You are working as a receptionist. You are interacting with customers and you have your own desk. On that, you have your own job. And there is already things are there. There is understanding between your boss, employer, and you know this is the job you have to do. The time you need to come, what you have to do with the place, what you have to do with the things, whatever given to you, how you have to interact, what information you need to give, how to do that. How you have to relate with the co-workers, colleagues. So that job demands certain responsibility. And it is very clear because it's very clearly agreed. And some people follow exactly. Some people follow only because they have to show something. Some people may do more than their job demands. If you see what is the responsibility, the responsibility of the employee is to do the job in a way, such a way, which will help for the whole surroundings as well as for the company to grow, whatever that interest of the whole team. We can say that way, right? But you may not value this way. You will see that, no, I go there 5 o'clock. No, I go there morning and I come out at 5 o'clock. I will take that 1 hour lunch break. I may take 30 minutes tea break, whatever. If the job is there, it's okay. I don't need to do that. I will do later, or I will do tomorrow, or I will pass to other employee. Others also need to do why I have to do. Or I will do it slowly, otherwise I will get more job. various ways you may be dealing with that. Then you see, this is a job given, I will do that. Now, where is this responsibility come? It becomes your own value, right? How do we see that? If the boss is good to me, I will do better. If the boss is nice to me, I will do better, more than what it demands. But if the boss is not nice to you, you maybe stick there if you have other benefits. And what happens to the responsibility? So you can see that even the word responsibility varies according to individual person's definition, how they value that. And that's exactly happening now in various relationships. Whether it is just friends, parents and children, husband and wife. What is the responsibility? It's not about loving each other. Now it becomes unwritten SOP is there. Standard operating procedure. As every company has SOP. This is the role, this is the way you have to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Now it's exactly that's the way happening in relationships also. That's what we see as a responsibility. There is no written SOP, but unwritten. Husband has to do this. Wife has to do this. Which also may vary according to each couple. So now the question comes, whatever you are doing, are you doing because other person is doing something? They do their job, I have to do my job, I am doing it. How do you see the responsibility then? Any relationship. Are you doing for your sake? Are you doing for their sake? Or are you doing because of the society? So you need to look into that first. What is your definition of responsibility? How do you value it? Certain things will reflect or show immediately. Like when you are driving, suppose if you have to drive on one side, left side or right side, your responsibility is driving within that lane, right? And that is the expectation of others also, because a common place we are sharing with the understanding they do their responsibility, I do my responsibility. So it's very easy. There are many places it's not that easy, very complicated. Because here, if you don't do that, okay, I don't like this lane, I take the other lane. What happens? Immediately accident happens, you will know what happens because you are not doing your responsibility. But it is not the case in many places. At home, you may keep things very clean. But when you go outside, you need law, people to supervise, to keep things clean. It's not coming naturally by responsibility. Instead, I will get fined. I will get certain penalty. Right? People are doing because of that. Because somebody watching, somebody put the penalty, or I will get some issue, then I will follow. But at home, no need. So the whole idea of responsibility itself will evolve when you understand the whole picture. A mother thinks taking care of the son, child or children, son or daughter, is her responsibility. So what they do, because of this value or this understanding, they may get into too much trouble themselves. Why? Mother is thinking it is her responsibility to care the child. So, eating well or not, young days. Then going to school, what he will do in school, studying or not, come back, need to study. Then what I have to do for that? The son should not be like that, should not do like this. So I have to care, I have to protect, and I need to get the love. I need to love. So the whole thought process is going around that just because the mother thinks my responsibility, so I care. But if the understanding comes, it's not about responsibility, rather, it is about the love. It is about how do you relate, how do you, any, even this mother, children, you see there, how do you relate? If you see, because if I don't do, my husband will say this. If I don't do, my parents-in-law say this. If I don't do, my relatives will say this. If I don't do, society will say this. Then you can see that it is imposed responsibility. It is not coming out of love. It is not coming out of value. It is not coming out of your interest. The same mother getting pain from the son. Suppose the son doesn't listen, or after growing up doing things which is not good for the family, for the society or anything, what the mother will do? What is the responsibility? do anything to bring the sun into that right track. You can try, you can do out of love, but it is not in your hand. All the things can go wrong anyway. So whatever you do out of love. Then there is no pressure, there is no stress, there is no any thought process jumping to the past and future. But if we see that it's a responsibility I have to do, then what happens actually? You are putting some pressure on you. You're putting some stress on you. It's not coming out of love. It's coming out of your desire. It's coming out of your expectation. Then the whole process becomes very challenging. That's what happening. We expect between spouses, husband, wife should be like that. With the friends should be like that. The mother, father, they should be like that. Children, they should be like that. Actually, we are imposing our desire and very cleverly putting the name responsibility. It's your selfish action more rather than the action comes out of love. But when we use the word dharma, it will be more complicated. As a altogether a different subject, dharma, when we say that. Because there, then the whole idea of responsibility, again, your value, how do you value it? Based on that, it will change. Okay. So you can see that whatever we are, the way we live, we can fundamentally, the root goes to the desire. Look into that way. Okay. Okay. I think I have answered everything. We will continue. Okay. Thank you all. Namaste.